Bronson in this picture. It's kind of close up. Very close up.
Very close up. What's up? What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday evening. That means we're live. Now, we're trying something new, so I'm looking at 4 screens, 4 cameras. You're going to see me popping back and forth between all of them. So
I'm waiting to go on Instagram until we're settled.
Okay, if you feel like I'm not paying attention to you, it's because I'm trying to pay attention to everybody. We got my laptop, my Instagram. My laptop has Facebook and YouTube. And then we got Nat's laptop, Nat's Instagram. I don't even know what we're doing. One of these days, we're going to figure out how to get like one camera
to
on
do
a computer or something and do all of them all at the same time.
One day.
One of these days.
When we get more sophisticated.
When we get more sophisticated. When we have more time and money to invest in figuring all that stuff out. So what's going on, everybody? We got Carlo is watching Reverse. That's fantastic. In case you guys didn't know, thank you, Rachel. In case you guys didn't know, Reversed. Hey, Natalie, what's going on? Reversed 4 episodes, right? 4.
Yeah,
4 of the 5. So most of the whole season of the Reverse, the carnivore season, came out last night. If you go to Dr. Barry's YouTube channel, it is there. You can watch it, binge the whole stinking thing.
We did last night.
Last night we watched
until like midnight.
A little after midnight, something like that. Yeah, it was late.
Lighting on your
That was good.
IG Live.
It says I have a droid.
Huh. It's because you're positioned on that side.
Oh, it's because of the position.
Yep.
Position is everything.
Oh, I'm not on live yet. I just did a face.
You're not even live. You hit the button.
Hold on. I want to get everything settled. We're on Zoom.
All right, we got people commenting.
Keto Bikini Secrets on Facebook, streaming live.
Natalie binged it last night too. What do we got going on over here? Rita, what's going on? Purple Loving Mama, what's going on? Oh, Purple Loving Nana, what's going on? I can't read.
I've got Deb, Jennifer, and Vicky here on the Zoom with me.
Facebook user said, "What's up, Coach? Last night in Tennessee. Where are you going, Bubbles?" Rita said she just read a book. Rita, I just read a book for women weightlifting, and she recommended 400 to 700 grams of carbs a day. I tossed it. She tossed it. Yay, Rita.
Yay. Okay, I'm gonna go live here on Instagram.
Let's see. The wife and I will binge Reverse tomorrow. Jazz Puppy watched 1 and 2, still watching 3 and 4. Bubbles watched all 4. Bubbles is in vacation in Tennessee, on her way home to Maryland tomorrow. Travel safe, Bubbles. Travel safe. All right. What state do y'all live in? We are in Maryland, which is where our conference is going to be in the middle of July. So if you haven't heard us talk about Antithetic Baltimore is a conference that Nat and I are hosting together, July 14th and 15th. We got Dr. Cybus, we got Maria Emmerich, we got Amy Berger, Kim Howerton, a bunch of other people are coming to speak, and we'll be there. So if you want to come meet us, you can come there and meet us too, because we'll be there. We won't be talking, at least not as speakers, because we're going to be running everything. But we will be
running around like chickens with our heads.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Okay, I forgot I can put this on the floor.
There you go. That's better.
Okay.
Hi. We got her Zoom. We got her.
You're not on. I'm so mad that mine.
Yours doesn't look as good. Don't filter me. I'm gonna have like blush.
But no blush. It's just lighting that looks like yours now.
Natural lighting.
Okay, we're going live on my IG.
All right, we're live. All right, what are we talking about?
And then we'll be live 4 places.
What are we talking about?
Hello. To those who haven't seen us yet, we are live in 4 places. Welcome to live chat with Coach Nat.
Live chat.
And Coach Bronson.
We got some more questions.
All right, we have a topic for tonight.
We did?
Yes.
Hold on. Somebody's saying something about reversed. Tennessee, vacation, enjoy reversed. Just wish they showed more of the question and answer segments. Yes, that's one thing that I wish they had done as well. But we took so much video while we were in Costa Rica for that series. I'm impressed with what they were able to cut together and make things kind of fit together in a way that they did. There was some complete sections of stuff we talked about they didn't even put in. So there was a lot of stuff for them to find the good stuff and put it in. I was really impressed with that.
If you're just tuning in on my Instagram, let us know if you watched the reversed series. That is a
Reversed series, reverse carnivore season, reverse series 3 carnivore season.
On Dr. Barry's channel that premiered last night, the first 4 episodes.
What's up, Teresa?
Deb said she watched the first 2 episodes.
2 episodes, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's funny when you look at it, obviously everyone's gonna watch the first one first. So it's got like 50,000 views. And then episode 4 has like 10,000 views. So everyone's got to make their way all the way through. I mean, it's 4 hours of watching. It's not a little bit of
right. It's like watching 2 movies back to back.
Yeah, 2 movies back to back.
Which we did this weekend.
We watched 3 movies back. So I got to tell y'all, I don't know about you. If there's a lot of women on here. If you guys get into Marvel, if you're a woman and you get into Marvel movies, give us a thumbs up.
Drop a comment or
this lady here is not a huge Marvel fan. I am a huge Marvel fan. I'm a huge comic book nerd, geek. Did we decide which one it was?
All of the above.
All of the above. I'm a huge geek when it comes to comic books.
Geeks are the best.
And because it was my birthday this weekend, and there's a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is in theaters now. She hasn't seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movies previous.
I saw 1.
So she needed to see 2, and then the other 2 Avengers movies that had them in it. So she could get the context for the movie that we're going to go see sometime. Oh, wait, when? Because we're going to the cruise on Friday. We got to go see the movie before the cruise.
We can do it on Saturday in Houston.
All right. So during the day. Yes, before we go to Heath and Shelley's for the Hungry Horde special dinner.
Okay, so we should probably tell everybody what's coming up.
There's a lot
doing in a few days.
Okay, what are we doing in a few days?
All right, we are leaving to fly to Houston and then sail out of Galveston on the
I'm letting my geek flag fly.
On the Allure of the Seas, a Royal Caribbean.
It's one of like the biggest ships, like one of the top 3 biggest ships.
I looked it up today.
Okay.
It is exactly like the ship we were on last year.
Oh, it's exactly which was the
Harmony of the
Sea. So it's basically the same.
Harmony was the 3rd largest ship in the world.
Right.
And so Allure, I don't know size-wise, but it has all the same.
It's the same layout and everything. Yeah. Okay.
So it'll be familiar to us. I was excited about Central Park Cafe, that central park area in the middle of the ship.
Yep.
We'll be taking y'all with us because we're going to be doing stories and we're going to do live.
We'll be doing so next Tuesday, this time a week from now, we'll be on the boat, but we'll still be live with you guys.
And you know what, ladies in my group, I think I will combine next week's masterclass with this live again.
Yeah.
Because we'll be at dinner during my regular masterclass on Monday night. So we will be there for 8 days. Pretty hard. And today was my quad day. We're building.
Women, you guys over here can't see it, but on her Instagram over here.
Switch. There you go.
Look at that. See that line? Hamstrings. Find you a dude that appreciates
big legs.
The legs.
I was just talking about this with a client on the call today about how, we go through our lives and ladies, we scrutinize our bodies and we always want to look different. And most of us grew up wanting to be thin because that was the ideal, especially in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
Everyone needs to look like Kate Moss.
Supermodels were all super skinny. And so I was really self-conscious about my legs growing up. I've always had big legs. And then when I got into bodybuilding and I started appreciating muscle on women, and then I started loving my ability to grow muscle, build muscle, and I started loving all those parts of me. And I was like, you know what? And I was still single. And I was like, I need a man that can appreciate this.
I like them
I
sturdy.
do not want a man that wants me to be skinny.
Nope.
It ain't
Strong
the man
women.
for me.
Just
I
so
found the right one.
motto, guys, if you're listening, motto that you should adopt is thick thighs
Save
save
lives.
lives.
If the ship goes down, we're gonna float on these quads
And these quads are
and
hers.
these hamstrings.
I like them sturdy. That's the saying, right? Is that the
Oh
saying?
my God, you need a t-shirt.
I like. Oh my God, is that a T-shirt? I like them sturdy. I'm getting that. I totally like that. Okay. So we're going on the cruise. We had totally segued. Absolutely.
really
We are
have.
not on the topic.
Okay, so yeah, we're heading out on the low carb cruise. There will be lots of content coming out of that, so
Yep.
be prepared. But that has inspired the topic of tonight, which is summer vacay.
How to stay on track.
We should have got like
Streamers or something.
summer stuff. Like we could have had a little pool too.
Sun's out, guns out. Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, so summer vacay, we're talking about how do you not lose track of your goals, not fall off track, not fall off the wagon on summer vacations, travel, socializing, all the things that you're doing in the summertime.
Can we go back and forth between that and questions? We haven't talked about how we're going to do that
No, we haven't.
because I have some questions right now.
I got some things in the group in advance.
Okay. So
And I have some questions here.
okay. So let's do this. Getting to questions because again, Instagram, YouTube is beating y'all to the questions. Let's see. Watched all 4 episodes. We got comments in the Instagrams, but no questions. Come on, Instagram, give me some questions.
I think somebody on yours asked what my IG is.
What your IG
And
is?
it is at the Keto Bikini Pro.
At the Keto Bikini Pro, all one word.
And
All right.
if you look in his stories, you'll see
I just did a post actually on
About
my main page that I tagged her in it, so you can find that.
he's
Okay. Question from
we
Chrissy.
put each other in our profiles.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean in the top part where?
Put the little couple with the little heart and then put each other's.
You're so cheesy. Chrissy has a question. Can you be in a deficit too long? I'll let you answer this.
Yes.
This is one of your favorite questions.
Oh my gosh, yes. We were literally just talking about
See, I have a little different take. So you answer for you and I'll answer for me.
this. Okay, so interestingly enough, I had a call earlier today with a former client, a consult, and she was still following the macros I gave her 7 or 8 months ago that we had worked to bring her into a deep enough deficit that she could lose body fat. So she got to a certain percentage of body fat that I recommend. She graduated from working with me. This was after working together for 6 months. So it took time for us to get there. And she's still on those same macros. That's not okay. 8 months later, when we did that for 6 months, she was in a deficit for 6 months with me. We got her to the body composition that I wanted her to be for a healthy maintenance. At that point, the important part would be and this is why I encourage people to continue to work with me, so we can reverse diet or find your maintenance, come back up to finding your maintenance. It could be that the deficit you were in and you're no longer losing weight, so many people find with plateaus, that's now your new maintenance because your metabolism has downregulated and adapted to where you are. So it could be that where you're at is no longer a deficit, and that's actually your new maintenance. And you have to hang out there, continue to build muscle and work on building your metabolism up so that you can get your fuel up, your food, macros, fat in particular on a ketogenic diet, calories up, before you can go into another caloric deficit. Now I should say that, caloric deficit, meaning, I hate to say it,
Fuel calories. Say fuel
calories in, calories out. But when we say deficit, we're talking about calories.
And right, and that's where this can get really confusing if you don't have a good, solid understanding of at least your definition of the words that you're using.
Yes.
Right.
This is why we always love to clarify.
Right. So deficit, calorie, fuel calorie, functional calorie, all of those types of things. The first question I would ask is, what do you mean by deficit and how much of a deficit are you talking about? So technically, okay, I operate in a deficit a majority of the time, okay? But my deficit is this comparatively. I'm not trying to cut for a bodybuilding show. I may be a 5 or 10 grams under my fat threshold on a daily basis for months at a time. And I don't really notice it. I don't care. It's whatever. So technically, you can be in a deficit long term. Now, if you're talking about being in an overall 500 or 600 calorie fuel calorie deficit every day for 6 months, that's probably not a good idea.
And what I would argue
Right?
is that you're not really in a deficit. You're at maintenance.
Well, again,
You're in maintenance range.
maintenance
that's
ranges,
why-
right? So,
Right.
and we're understanding where your ranges are and looking at things from a threshold perspective versus from a total calorie perspective, looking at things from a fuel calorie to a functional calorie, the difference between protein and fat and carbs, and all of these things kind of play
And I would typically
your
say
activity
too,
level,
when people
all
say
that kind of stuff.
with that question, right? Can you be in a deficit too long? The
So broad. It's so
deficit-
broad.
Well, the deficit that this person, what I would assume from that question,
Yeah.
is that you have been in a deficit with the intent to lose fat.
Right.
Meaning you have been in enough of a deficit that you are losing fat. We don't want to do that forever because guess what happens?
Right. You can lose too much fat.
Eventually,
You
you
can
will
lose
die.
too much fat.
You keep eating in a deficit. But this is also what happens when you start slowing down your metabolism because the body doesn't want to die. The body doesn't, it's trying to keep you alive. So it will slow down its processes. Any non-essential process, which ladies, guess what that means? You're going to lose your cycle because procreating is no longer important to your body when it's trying to survive.
Not the procreation.
So when your hair is falling out, when you are starving, when you no longer have a period, when you're experiencing other hormonal changes, things that are not okay, that are showing hormonal imbalance, a lot of the time it can be because you were in a deficit for too long. And especially if it was one of those low fat deficits.
Oh my God, yes, low fat deficits. Okay, this goes into the next question that Vadim asked. So hopefully that answered your question a little bit, Chrissy. The answer in general is yes, you can be in a deficit too long. You could be in a deficit for a really short period of time, but it's too extreme, and that can be a problem as well. So it's not even just length, but how much are you going? We try to stay away from extremes, which goes right into Vadim's question. There is a debate as far as what happens with extra fat on a keto diet. Some believe that with very little insulin, fat can be stored, can't be stored. And some believe to lose weight, one has to do PSMF and stick to it. Okay.
This is a good one.
None of that
that
is even a thing.
We saw a little bit of a debate
Yes,
about this
right.
on Reverse.
Okay,
last night.
so Vadim, here's how this works. At some point in time, your body's going to not be able to store fat anymore. And on your body, then it goes inside your body, right? So there's this thing called visceral fat, which is body fat that's stored on your organs. Most people will store fat in their outer layers before they start getting into the inner layers. Once the outer layers are full, the inner layers start getting. When we talk about intake of fat fuel, you can only use so much. Your fat as a product that you need to do things like hormones and cellular structure and all the different things that fat is used for, and including fat as fuel, you can only do so much with the fat that you take in. Okay, so if you have fat on your body, you don't want to take in a lot in your mouth. Okay, it's got to get stored.
You've already got.
It's got to get stored.
It.
So where we get a lot of problems is when we get to a point where it's hard for our body to store the fat. Okay, that's where we get into problems. Now, going high fat versus going low fat, or high protein versus going low protein. Okay, the statement that you have to go PSMF to lose fat is absolutely not a thing. You do not have to go PSMF to lose fat. Okay, PSMF is a tool that can help some people who are very metabolically dysfunctional kickstart their fat loss process, shrink their fat cells, get their fat cells to start releasing the fatty acids instead of holding on to them. Okay. That doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. It is a quick way to get some people started. Just like the complete opposite, some people do really well eating more fat at the beginning, teaching their body how to utilize ketones and utilize fatty acids that they're eating. When their body gets good at doing that, then they can tailor off on the exogenous fat and their body will start using what they have on their body. So it's another way that they can kickstart fat loss. Okay. Either way can work for different people. I've seen both work. Okay. Regardless, here's one thing I should remember, regardless of whether you do a PSMF, you use PSMF as a tool to lose fat, or you use high fat to lose as a tool to lose fat. Okay. Initially, you're going to need at some point to stop doing that and start finding what your body actually needs of protein and what your body actually needs of fat, and start doing that as your priority with moving your body. And then that will maintain the process that you use these other tools to kickstart. I hope that makes sense to everybody. You can't start on extremes and stay at extremes. You got to bring it back to the middle at some point in time.
Yeah, the summary of that is we are fans of not going to the extreme, and the grand majority of people don't necessarily need to go to either extreme. But these things are popular and they're
because they have an effect. They do work. The problem is people do it and then, well, it works, so that's what I have to do for the rest of my life.
But I would argue that the reason that, particularly, like, let's go with the high fat, for example. The reason the high fat works is not the reason people are saying it works. And then you get this in your head that I need to eat all this fat to lose more fat.
Right.
And
well,
and that is not an
right,
accurate.
Right. Getting the phrase "eat fat to lose fat" conflated with being fat adapted helps you burn fat. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
Exactly.
Not the same thing at all. Yeah. All right. Hope that answers the question, Vadim. You do not have to eat fat in order to lose fat. You do not have to go PSMF in order to lose fat. What you need to do on some level, hopefully not an extreme level, is use more energy than you take in. That's really all it is. Now, does that mean calories in total? No, because it could just be fat. And that's how I do it. I focus on the fat as my energy source. I don't count protein in my macros when it comes to fuel management. I just count my fat. Okay, so it's not total calories. I don't look at total calories. I look at functional and fuel calories. If you don't know what I mean by functional and fuel calories, either get my book, The Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness Book, or go to my YouTube channel, Coach Bronson, on YouTube, and watch my video on functional and fuel calories. Yay! Okay.
All right, let's do some questions on the topic of the night.
The topic of the night.
Summer vacation.
Okay.
All right, so Tori asked, I saw something from Tori, how to resist pineapple and peaches.
How to resist pineapple and peaches?
How are you going to resist pineapple and peaches?
I don't care about pineapple and peaches. It's easy to resist things that you no longer have a desire for. Right? So a long time ago, I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years now from a nutrition perspective. A long time ago, I realized that my progress and my health and how I feel was the most important thing to me, and that there was no food that was going to be more important than that.
So I think we can expand this question out to any food.
Any food. Yep.
That, let's say, is a summer food, right? Obviously, these days in this. Okay.
Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. This is for your people are still listening. I'm doing
There's no way I can focus while you're doing that.
a little
Go
power
ahead and
puck,
do your
a
commercial.
little power puck commercial. Okay.
What were we talking about?
Any food.
Resisting temptations. Of
Resisting
foods
temptation.
that you enjoy.
Power pucks. Resisting power pucks.
Actually, you know what? Guess what I did yesterday? I put my power pucks in the freezer because
I thought you might have eaten them all. Eaten them all.
no.
I thought you ate them all.
No,
That's a bad one.
I had 3 of them last night,
Mhm.
and they are made with whey, and I don't do very well with dairy. And we are going to be on a cruise ship in a few days, and I have had all kinds of congestion lately. So I'm concerned that I don't want to have a full-blown sinus infection before we leave. And so I had 3 of them last night, and I was like, you know what? These need to not be in the refrigerator. Let me put them in the back of the freezer. Do I know they're there? Yes. But are they readily accessible to me right now? No. Are they going to be looking at me in the face every time I open my refrigerator? No. So I moved them out of my vicinity so that they would not be as much of a temptation. And then back to Bronson's point, I have a reason why I'm not going to eat them before we leave for the cruise. That is important to me. I want to feel well on this cruise. I do not want to have to get on a plane and then get on the ship and feel like crap and then not be able to interact and socialize and do all the things that I want to do. So what I encourage clients a lot of the time when they're struggling with temptations in social situations, which is really what we're talking about. Summertime is like when everybody starts going outside, it's nice. There's a lot more socializing. You know, in the winter, everybody's a little bit more keep it to themselves and stay in the house. But so you do a lot more socializing, you might do a lot more travel, there's a lot of celebrations and holidays and things. And so you may be going to cookouts, you may be going places where people are having food. And so you're going to be around foods that you don't typically eat that might have been very tempting to you at one point. There are still foods you used to love in your old life.
Oh my God, we were talking about the other night.
Oh my, let's not trigger anyone, but
okay. We won't go into detail, but we were commiserating about our history with bad foods in the past the other day. And yeah, I mean, there are still foods that we connect with and feel like a little nostalgia for when we think about, oh my God, I used to eat that. I used to love that so much.
And we will be on this cruise ship. This is not an entirely 5,000 person low carb cruise.
Not yet.
It is.
Not yet.
What, 300?
Over 300. I think it's like 350, almost 400.
Yeah. In our group. But it's a 5,000 person ship, and all of the meals are not going to be catered to the low carbers. So we are going to be around all of it.
We have to be picky about what we do.
So let's talk about a little bit about how we plan for that and how we navigate that.
Yeah. The first thing I think you have to, and like for our situation, we're going on a cruise. There's not going to be low carb options. Okay. We have to, number one, you have to go in with the understanding that you're not going to have the best cruise experience when you're being picky about what you're eating on the cruise.
You're not going to have the best cruise experience.
Right? The whole idea of the cruise experience is let it all go and eat whatever and do whatever you want, right? That's what most people go into a cruise thinking about.
Right. Now.
So,
but
go ahead.
If you believe that your experience is not going to be as fun or as enjoyable because you are not indulging in all the things that everybody else is, that is your mental construct. And that is what is going to make you not have a good time and be focused entirely on what you're not able to eat, on what you're missing out.
And that's what I'm saying in a different way. I'm saying set the expectation. So you know what you're walking into and you know what your plan is.
Yeah.
So you can make the best out of that.
And then work on your mindset so that you can shift from the old belief that eating junk food and drinking alcohol and being sedentary equals fun and happy life.
Right.
When you can reset that mindset and shift your focus into doing active things are fun.
Spending time doing things, creating memories.
Connecting with people, having experiences. How about being sober to enjoy and experience
What?
and be fully present with the people around you and the experiences that you're having?
But I'm so much more fun when I'm drunk.
I just posted a powerful Jordan Peterson video in my group the other day.
Did
I show you that one? About, it was, if you're in my group, you gotta check it out. It was about alcohol in particular, but you can apply it to food addictions and any other addictions. He was talking about exactly this, changing the association. He didn't call it that, but that's what I always harp on, is changing the association of the thing. A lot of the time we get stuck with the foods because we associate poison, the foods that are harming us, the foods that are abusing our bodies, much like I always say, like an abusive relationship. We associate that with love. We associate that with fun. We associate that with pleasure. And then we associate pain with eating healthy. It's so painful and so boring and so bland. And that is what you have to work on in your mind.
Yes.
We both eat like it is our last meal every single meal.
Guys,
we love our food.
I think I may have said this before. I don't know how to even impress on you that once you get your mind switched onto how beneficial and good for you and what actual food tastes like, and just enjoy what you know you're doing to support your health and your mind and your longevity and your just everything about yourself, that plate represents so much more than just what I'm eating for dinner. That plate represents a choice that I am actively making to make myself better. So every meal I eat is a reinforcement of my self-care and my commitment to being a better person. So it's not, and I freaking love it. Okay, every time I eat, you should see it. Like, she thinks I'm having sex over here in the living room because I'm making noises that she only hears in the bedroom, right?
I know better than that. You ain't gonna be around me doing nothing.
But I'm eating the food and I'm just like, babe, I can't stop. Like, this is amazing. Every day.
But ladies, he does lick the plate.
I do lick the plate. I do it every time. I gotta lick the plate. I don't care if it's meat juices, butter, egg, it's something on there. There is never a dirty plate in this house.
He is my kryptonite. Not the pineapples and the mango.
Yeah. Hey, woo.
Okay.
Hey, now TMI. That's not what anybody wants to know.
Debbie says that her kryptonite in the summer is ice cream. She said, I did great all day yesterday, having just burgers, hot dogs, and guac for my meal, bypassing all the other food until it came to the ice cream. Okay. Okay, babe. You have
ice cream is my kryptonite. I just sent you the thing today.
You did, right before the call.
Right before this call. I saw a thing on Facebook, Instagram, I don't know what it was. And it
was a video.
The video of somebody doing some really cool stuff with Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And if you guys followed me for a while, you know that Ben & Jerry's is my jam. I love me some Ben & Jerry's. But I don't do it that often. I do it, once every 6 months I might have.
I mean, really, it was
a few pints.
It might have been a year before you had it again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't do it often. And I don't do it nearly, even if I did, let's say it's every 6 months, I'll do some Ben & Jerry's. When I was unhealthy and trying to get to where I am now, it was less because I couldn't afford it.
Right. Because
so when my pain, the thing that contributed more to me staying where I was and where I wanted to go. So now that I'm healthy, it's something, if it comes up and say, you know what, I haven't had this in 6 months, I'm going to have some, I enjoy it, it's great. It's not going to set me back to have one day where I have some Ben & Jerry's and I'm in a physically and biologically, physiologically, neurologically sound position where I can do that and it's not going to send me back, right?
This makes me think of when you're at the beginning of your journey, or maybe you've lost a little weight and you go out with people and they're like, you can afford it.
Right. You still can't.
You don't know what's in my wallet. You don't know what I can afford.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
That's like telling someone who is in deep in debt, trying to desperately to get out of debt and to be able to afford a home.
And
you go out shopping and you're like, you can afford that over there.
Yep, it is. It is. They don't know, and you should listen to them.
So, long story to say that whatever your kryptonite is, your why for this journey is the Superman. Wait, what kills kryptonite? Because kryptonite kills Superman, right?
What?
What kills kryptonite?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Kryptonite can't be killed. It's just a rock.
Well, how does
you're trying to find a core? If you surround it with lead, then
okay. So what is going to be your lead?
What is going to be your lead? What's your lead case to surround your kryptonite? But that's actually a really good analogy, because what we're talking about is controlling your environment and controlling the situations you put yourself in. Okay. Well,
that's one half of the coin.
But that's you bring your box with you, right? That's kind of the analogy that I'm thinking. She went there, y'all. She totally went there. Can you believe that she just went there? Oh my God. This is how we know that Nat is getting more comfortable on camera with all of this stuff than everything. Okay. Where was I? Controlling your environment. Okay.
Yes. So we have the
I totally lost where I was going. I was going to tell you controlling.
And we have the practical physiological, right? So you're talking about the practical side of things.
Right. Controlling. Oh, I was going to give you an example.
Yeah.
So this is just a personal story, guys. I mean, you guys, we were talking about this the other day too. There's a lot about me that we
yes. Y'all don't know this.
This is another aspect of my story, and coming from when I was going through my first divorce. After my first divorce or separation, I went through a phase where I was working my full-time job, and then I started bouncing at some clubs in the area. I turned into a frat boy, pretty much. Right, I'm in my early 30s, and we're bouncing and staying up all
early
night.
midnight.
I mean, there were 4 or 5 nights a week. I didn't go to bed before 2 o'clock any night. Like that was it. And I'd go to work the next day. Like it was.
It's a good thing I didn't meet him then.
It's a good thing she did. Although you said if you had, you still would have liked it.
We talked about this before. At any point in our lives,
if we had
we've been in the same place at the same time,
it would have been bad. It would have been bad. It would have been bad. But there was at some point in time that caught up to me, and I had to say, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not good. I was in some relationships that ended very badly because of my habits and my attitude and the way I was doing things. I had a drinking problem. The only thing that was going well in my life at the time was work. That was like when you know how I am when it comes to work. I got to work, it was boom, let's go. But even that wasn't going well because the attitude that I had, right? And we talked about my attitude about certain things and the way that I carried myself. There was some issues with, and so there was a lot of things that had to change. One of the things I had to do was stop going to all of the places that I used to go. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I used to bounce at 3 different bars in the town, in this town that we live in now. There's 3 different bars I used to bounce at. I haven't been to any of those bars in over 10 years.
Wow.
Not once, because I decided if I'm going to change what I'm doing, guess what? I have to change what I'm doing. So going to these bars, I can't go there because when I go there, I'm living an identity, get back to identity, of somebody who I'm not wanting to be anymore. So I have to do something different. So that's part of controlling your environment. And that's when you talk about going on the cruise, you're going on vacation. Control, you have the choice to say, I'm going to go to that thing or I'm not. If you know that you're going to go to a friend's house and they're going to have barbecue and they're going to have a bunch of beer and a bunch of alcohol and they're going to be partying and they're going to encourage you to do the same thing, and you don't know if you can stay on plan when you go there, it is better for you not to go. Okay? There's 2 reasons why. and there may be more, but there's two that I can think of right now. Okay. Number one, you are making an active choice to control your situation so that you don't put yourself in a spot that you will regret later. Okay. Secondly, you are letting the people in your circle know that you are serious about what you're trying to do. And they will get the message if you consistently make that choice.
That right there is everything when it comes
it's
to other
okay
people.
to say no and set that boundary and
Yep.
say, no, if you're going to pressure me to do something I don't want to do, then I'm not coming over to your house. I'm not spending time with you. Right? So you're protecting yourself. Just like we put a fence around our house for our kids and our pets, you're putting a fence around yourself to make sure that you stay on track.
And I know a lot of people in that space, but I will also say that that can also backfire for certain people and after a certain period of time, right? So I think it's really important to recognize, am I in the addict stage of like an alcohol addict, right? Yeah, an alcoholic. You cannot be around it. You know, those with eating disorders, trying to heal an eating disorder, you have to stay away from your trigger foods for a certain period of time and eat a structured program, if you will, structured meal plan type of thing. So if you're in that situation where you cave every single time and it's better for you to not be in that situation, then by all means, exercise that confidence in a different way. If you cannot be confident in that space, then exercise that confidence by saying, I'm not going to be there. However, this is not a good long-term strategy. What will end up happening is you will become resentment. You will have resentment for your chosen meal way of eating or chosen lifestyle because you now think that this lifestyle is keeping you from living your life and having fun and connecting with others. I can only do this if I stay to myself. I only eat at home. I never go out and do anything. So I think it's really important.
Use that time to reflect on why you're doing it now.
Yeah. And you know, when I did my very second competition, I was still going out. I didn't go out every weekend. Granted, I was in my mid-30s by the time I started competing.
Old woman.
So I wasn't like battling the 21-year-old culture, but
old woman.
But I still went out, but I just couldn't do it as often. I couldn't stay out as late. And then eventually I got to the point where I loved my fit, healthy lifestyle better. I loved the way I felt when I wasn't under the influence and when I wasn't sick to my stomach because of eating all this crap. And then I decided there were people that no longer belonged in my life because I no longer had anything in common with them. And these people only ever encouraged me to do things that were not a part of my life anymore.
Can we talk about something that just clicked, that just hit me?
Sure.
You're talking about the being under the influence.
Yeah.
This is maybe something that you'll probably riff on, but just the idea popped in my head that most of the people we work with, one of the things that they're looking for, okay, one of the things that we hear a lot from people that we work with is, I'm trying to get control back. I want to get control of my life. I want to have control of where I'm going. I feel like my body's been controlling me. I don't know what's going on. They've lost control.
Yeah.
Some of these same people have absolutely no problem losing control when it comes to alcohol.
Yeah. And food.
And food, right? So you got to decide, like, if you're looking to be in control, then why are you giving control?
Giving it away.
You're giving it away.
Giving your power away.
So that's another aspect you think about when you're making the choices for what you're trying to do. The choices that you make, ask yourself, before I make this decision, if I do this, am I doing this because I'm in control or because I'm giving control? And then that will help you decide what you want to do. Hopefully, it's another checkpoint along the way of helping you decide what you want to do.
And that point about your own consistency speaks louder than any argument, any discussion. When people are not open to discussing these things, they don't want to know about what you're doing. They're just discouraging you or they want to argue. That's not going to do anything. So I always say, lead with your actions. It doesn't have to be a big deal.
Right.
If you're confident in what you're doing and you feel good about what you're doing.
Think about this. Like, do you look at us guys? You see us, I've been carnivore for 5 years. I've been doing fitness for 12 years. You've been doing this for almost the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So do you think that anybody in our life that we have a problem with telling them, no, this is not something we're going to do? Right. We go to your parents. Your parents, your mom asks us all the time, you guys want this, you want that? And we're like, no. You know what we like, you know what we're going to do. Don't you don't need to ask. Thank you for offering, but no. It's not even a question of whether we're going to say no or let them do it or whatever else, right? When we go out, it's just, this is how we order. Like, this is just what we do. Like,
all the traveling and all the events we do all year long, we don't drink at any of those. You will never see us with a cocktail in our hands. So, but nobody has ever said anything to us about that. Never given us a hard time about it.
Most of the concerns and anxiety that you guys have when it comes to saying no to something in social situations is made up. It's made up in your head. It's made up in your head, guys. Most people are more worried about what you're thinking about them than thinking about what you're doing or not doing.
And if anybody is saying anything to you, it is a reflection on them,
not on you.
Not on you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing to remember, is that there's somewhere they're coming from with this. Right. And trying to understand where they're coming from rather than taking that on you and making it mean something about you. Yeah. The biggest thing here is, if you're inventing all of this, which is what we just said you're doing, there is a reason.
Yes, neither of us drink.
There is a reason why you're doing that. It's because you have this emotional limbic brain that is
lizard brain
you stuck in the familiar. So if you're saying to yourself, there's no way I could go to the cookout and not eat the fruit and not eat the ice cream and not eat the this and not eat that, that is something you've decided you cannot do. Oh, but it's because my mom's going to give me a hard time. Oh, but it's because of this. Oh, I had to do it for this reason, or I have to do it for this person. That is still all you. So my famous thing is, never trust a thought you think. Take every thought hostage. Challenge the thoughts in your head. Ask yourself, is that really true? Sometimes it is. Sometimes there are food pushers.
Yeah, but acknowledge that.
Okay. Then you can say, but does that mean that I can't say no?
Right.
No. Right. I'm still capable. I'm still the only one that has the power to lift the fork and put the thing in my mouth or not.
Yep. 100%. 100%. All right, I got a couple questions.
Okay,
back to the Q&A time, guys. We're done ranting for a couple minutes.
Yeah. No, we're gonna rant on.
We're gonna rant some more. Okay, let's see. This is a super easy one. Karen says, you were talking on reversed about squats. Can you elaborate on that? Karen, I think the first thing to understand about squats is that they are essential. Everyone needs to know how to squat. So that's really the biggest thing I can do in this setting is talk about squats, in that when you sit down, you're squatting. When you go to the bathroom, you're squatting. We have to be able to squat. Being able to squat is an essential movement that if you lose the ability to squat, you lose the ability to live independently. If you can't get out of a chair by yourself, then you need to hire someone to help you get out of a chair. So that's not something you want to lose the ability to do. Okay. So learning how to squat is super important. Being good at squatting is super important. Being able to do it on your own for as long as possible is super important. Okay. Learning how to squat. I would say one way that you could do that is go to my YouTube channel. I have 5 or 6 or 20 videos on squatting that you can watch on the basics of how to squat. I have one of the videos in my playlist on essential movements for everyone is the playlist. It's essential movements for, I think it's essential movements for something, essential movements for everybody. I don't know, something like that. There's one of the playlists on my YouTube channel where I have a bunch of videos with my mom, who is a fantastic sports and fitness model at 69 years
She's
old.
So cute.
Okay. Where she is helping me walk through and demonstrate the basics of the different essential movements, walking and carrying and lunging and twisting and squatting and things like that. So if you go to my YouTube channel, there's some basics on how to squat. Hope that answers your question, Karen. Let's see.
Let's do that.
I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Looks like people just talking. Beef or salmon.
Oh,
I
because
use hamburgers.
she said I'm low on potassium. Should I eat bananas?
Oh, no. Eat more meat.
Red meat.
Eat more red meat.
Lamb has great amount of potassium.
Todd says, find your true friends that will support you. Yes. Intentional carnivore. There is a fine line between being controlled and being a slave.
Woo! You know, one of my very first whys.
Live intentional. I love that. Live intentional.
One of my very first whys was because I don't want to be a slave to food.
Yep. This is an interesting one. Hold on. Let's talk about this. This is something we hear a lot. So much wisdom. Thank you both. 3 years in and never expected to struggle again. Had a hard 6 months emotionally and the cravings came back. Your wisdom helps me fight to get back to where I was. Okay. I will tell you this. Don't fight to get back to where you were. Fight to get where you want to be.
I love that.
Okay.
You need to write that down and put that out there. One of my
Coach Bronsonisms. Right. So where you were may seem like it's a better place, but you have to go backwards to get there. Okay. So think about, where do I want to be, and just start the process over again. I talked about this with my mom, with her or anything. Like,
don't compare to where you were.
You're not starting over. You're restarting.
I love that.
Okay. So it's the process that you go through as a new beginner is the same process that you go through if you've had some time where you kind of backslid and you've fallen off track.
Or if you're into fitness and you have an injury, like
right, if you got to start over, you got to start over again. It's not starting over because you're starting well beyond where you started to begin with. So much more knowledge and experience and everything, right? So you're restarting. So the process doesn't change. It's like people say all the time, what do I do if I fall off track? What did you do to get on track in the first place? Just do that. Just do that all over again.
Don't look back at where you were before. And those of you in fitness who were, for me, I grew up a dancer, right? And then got into a sedentary office job. And then, if I compared myself to where I was in college and in dance classes, I would not be able to do what I did back then.
Yep.
It would take time to get back there. So to get back there, you're never going to get back there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what's ahead for you and where you go.
All right, I think that's all I got on my YouTubes. I haven't had any.
Abigail here says, Coach Bronson, she watched you in the Reverse Carnivore series.
Yay! Thanks.
Bombshell. Michelle says, with the social stuff, that's a tough one. I get it all the time. Just have one, then I get, she's too good for us. It's frustrating.
Find a new group of friends.
I mean, seriously.
Sometimes,
do you want to be around that?
If you are around, so there's I want to be very clear about this. I'm going to say this straight up. There is a difference between people who are expressing what they think is affection and caring by offering you things. Like moms do it all the time. Moms love with food.
Yeah.
Right? It happens. Families love with food. If they're doing it out of what they perceive in their way of showing love, that's very different than somebody who is nasty. The word I'm looking for is malicious.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Who is trying specifically to undermine you because you are reflecting to them what they need to be doing for themselves.
It's a crabs in a barrel situation.
Okay. If they're trying to there's a difference between a lighthearted, you can have some, you can afford it. But then if it goes beyond that and they start giving you an actual hard time and trying to gaslight you or guilt you into doing something after you've been clear about expressing.
Which
you have to be clear about expressing your intention. If they're pressuring you and you haven't been clear.
If you're laughing along and acting like it's all fun and games,
right.
You don't really have a leg to stand on when now you feel hurt by what they said. So you have to make your stance clear.
Right. Once you make your stance clear, if they keep pushing, to me, you're not worth my time.
And if it's
I want to be with people who are going to lift me up, not pull me down. So
and
I'm going to find
there's a difference between satellite friends that do this. Distance yourself from those people. And your mother, right? My mother. I can understand where she's coming from because that's her perspective, right? It's her perspective. She feels that I'm missing out if I don't enjoy the things she enjoys, right? I can understand where that's coming from, and it's never a malicious intent. And then at some point, sometimes I may engage her in discussions about it. Other times I may just let it go and say, you know what? She's not going to be able to see it from this perspective, and that's okay too. For instance, Tiffany shared the other day, and she said she's still pissed about it. Her mom said she liked the old her better.
Okay, that's
when
then,
she was
and
drinking. And
yeah, Tiffany, that is completely understandable because the old her was more relatable. The old you was more relatable.
Yeah.
Because she hasn't grown with you.
Right.
She's not willing to make that change. So, guys, when you go on the journey of self-improvement, you are going to be a different person, and the people that you relate to change. You're not going to relate to the people that you did 5 years ago, 5 years from now, because you will be in a different place.
Yeah.
This is something that it happens to us all the time.
Growth-oriented.
As a growth-oriented, growth mindset kind of individuals, right? We have often in our lives, because we are always striving to grow and change and evolve. Yep. We have grown out of friendships and relationships, and it happens quite frequently, actually. So
this is why the only prerequisite for my partner, like the absolute must-have, it was not about where is he now, what is he doing now. It was about where is he wanting to go, because anybody who was just okay with wherever they were never going to be the right partner for me. Because of that, exactly that fact. I'm not going to be the same person in 5 years. And I don't want to be with someone who wants me to be the same person 5 years from now and is expecting nothing to change. But many of us have family members, especially previous generations, but even in our own generation, we have many family members who don't see eye to eye with us, people in our day-to-day lives, right? Because our keto community is all online. You know, he did win his mother over the carnivore side.
My brother temporarily, and his family. My dad sometimes off and on.
But that's the other thing too.
All my whole extended family.
Walk the walk. People start to come along.
That's where I was going to earlier when I was saying, look at us. Like, it's not just do you think we have a problem telling people no, or telling people what our expectations are, but do you think anybody looks at us that we've been around, like in our family or friends that we've known for 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 years, looks at us and goes, I can't believe you guys are doing that. Right?
Nope.
There is nobody that I've known for more than a couple of years that looks at me and says, are you sure this is the right thing to do? Right? I mean, come on, guys, right? The evidence is a little out there.
We're living
that this is pretty much the jam. So that it is what it is.
Well, and our loved ones have seen our health improve. They've seen what we went through before.
Yeah.
And so they love us enough to see that we are better. And that matters more to them than their own comfort, and that's ultimately what you're experiencing in social situations where people are giving you shit. It is because they're not comfortable. It makes them uncomfortable.
Thanks, Hancock Healthy Living. Appreciate it. All right. Do you have any questions? We got questions.
Yeah. Do you recommend IF while trying to gain muscle?
No.
Can't tell if it's helping gains or hurting gains.
No.
Yeah, we are not big proponents at all of fasting of any sort. IF, I would say, is probably the least harmful.
So
of all the fasting.
I'm okay with IF in general if you're doing it as a natural progression of your body's
You're just not hungry,
right? So, and this is something, this is actually something that they talk about in reversal of it when they talk about they have a fasting segment, is a lot of people going carnivore if you're eating enough at each of your meals, naturally fall into a 2 meals a day in an 8-hour window. That's just the natural. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people just fall into it without tracking their time and trying to eat at a certain whatever. It's just, I kind of eat 2 meals a day, and that's just how it is. That's how it was for me. That's how it was with most of the clients and people that I work with. They naturally fall into that. So
That's what I do.
there's a natural clock, I think, in most people that if you're eating enough food and it's nutrient dense enough and your body can utilize it enough and you're getting enough of it in at each meal, 2 meals a day in an 8-hour window is probably where you're going to end up. And it might even be a 6-hour window,
right.
but it might, it is what it is.
But also it doesn't have to be, there's nothing magic
Right.
about 8 hours.
Exactly.
Ooh, we should tell them what we discovered.
And that's the thing I think that's huge to reiterate, is that's where a lot of people fall naturally. But if you have a schedule, maybe you work shift work or you got something else going on and you have to eat 3 meals a day, or you can only eat 2 meals a day, but it's 12 hours apart. Fine.
Exactly.
Absolutely fine. Don't sweat it. Total nutrition in a day is going to do 20 times more for you when you're exercising regularly.
I was about to say, let's get to the
Than
muscle part.
just doing intermittent fasting.
Okay, so if gaining muscle is your goal, then the ideal, what's kind of been put out there is the ideal situation. If you were trying to gain as much muscle in the most efficient way possible, number one, you have to be strength training and you have to be using progressive overload. You have to be doing something
Lift
that
heavy.
is sending the signal to your body to build the muscle, right? And then the nutrition is supporting that, is helping with your recovery, giving you the building blocks to build that muscle. Ideal situation, 3 meals a day with at least 30 to 35 grams of protein per meal.
50.
But
50.
for most people at minimum 40.
50.
But
Team protein.
2 meals a day, as long as you're getting adequate protein for what your body needs to build muscle, is fine. What I do not recommend, neither of us recommend, OMAD
or
24-hour fasting.
Extended fasting.
No,
It's horrible.
not for gains,
Not for
especially not for
Well,
gains.
okay.
You talk
Being
about
clear about definitions. Okay. She says not for gains. OMAD, extended fasting, not for gains. Okay. When she says gains, and what most of you guys think about when we talk about the word gains is putting on muscle, getting big, getting huge, right? Let me tell you something. Real talk, guys. Most of you listening to this on all the different platforms we have going on right now, okay, need to gain lean mass. That means anything that you are doing to improve your amount of lean mass on your body is gains. We're not talking about getting jacked in the gym.
Right.
We're talking about increasing your muscle on your body. I don't care if you're 65 years old and you're a woman and you have never been to the gym in your life, you need to build muscle. That means the gains that you get from your resistance training are important. They are more important than your need to fast because you think fasting is going to help you lose fat.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
Okay.
Because all the ladies out there that are like, well, I don't want to get bulky, so I am going to do all the fasting. No. And this crap about human growth hormone increasing because you're fasting is crap, people. Like, you got to give your body the nutrition that it needs to build itself.
Yes.
Every part of our body is actually built from the food we eat. So, and Abigail says, thanks for the response. Currently lifting 3 to 4 times a week, heavy enough to do 6 to 8 reps progressively until failure. Yay.
Good job.
I love it.
Good job.
Awesome. Yeah. So don't care about the IF. Oh,
Yeah,
and then what I
IF.
wanted to point out was good old Andrew Huberman.
And Amber Huberman.
Andrew Huberman. Thanks to an Andrew Huberman Labs podcast, I learned a little something about this 8-hour window.
Uh-oh.
That was kind of fascinating. Y'all know why 8-hour windows for eating have become the thing? Did I tell you?
What? No, what?
Where that came from?
No. I feel like I know this, but go ahead and
You'll know it when I say
yeah.
it. The studies that they did were 8 hours.
Yes.
Why? Because that's when the people were working, y'all. The lab technicians were working in 8-hour shifts. That's the only reason why we have the studies on the 8 hours. It's not that 8 hours are magical.
No.
So, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be 10, could be 12,
Could be 10, could be 24.
Who knows? If they had
daily
tested it
intake, daily intake is all that matters.
Yep.
Okay, guys, again, if you're stressing over your schedule and when you're going to eat and what you're going to eat and eat before a workout and don't eat before a workout
just
and
make
eat
sure
after a
you're
workout.
eating enough.
Just eat when you can eat and eat as much as you can and get what you need and work out when you can. Don't make it more complicated. Stop making it complicated. That's the title. That's going to be the title of my new book. Stop making, although the new book is going to be
a little
dense.
A little more
A little
complicated.
more complicated. I'm working on book number 3, guys.
It's a banger too.
It's going to be a banger. Just to give you guys a quick
He's writing an
quick
encyclopedia.
insight, it's going to be it is the compendium. Ooh, there's a word of the day. It is the compendium to my process and my method. So how I look at all of this broken down into many chunks to hopefully help you guys understand how you can apply the things that I do the way that I think to your own individual situation. So it is literally my brain in a book. It's I'm halfway through the book now. I'm about 5,000 words more than the entire book I wrote last year. So the book I wrote last year was 200 and something pages, 46,000 words. I'm at 52,000 words and counting.
He's been a mad scientist in his office.
And counting. I'm having a blast, guys. It's so think about things you never thought as a kid. The fact that number 1, I'm working on my 3rd book, that number 2, I get off on thinking about it and going into the office and writing. Like, who am I? Where did that come from? Like,
you're like, he'll get an idea in the middle of the night and get up and go in the office.
It's weird. It's
write
weird.
Some more.
Super weird. All right, we got any other questions before we go off? We gotta. It's been like, how long has it been?
It's been over an hour.
Over an hour, yeah. We gotta get up here. People are getting tired. Thank you, Intentional Carnivore. That means a lot, man. Yes, hit the like button. Hit the like button and subscribe.
So I guess I could say the summary of how we're preparing for this cruise. We're just gonna do what we do every day.
Yeah, that's the takeaway, guys.
More of the same. We don't have to prepare.
Your body doesn't know you're on vacation. Only your brain does.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't change what you're doing. Don't change what you're doing.
Vacation mode from focus on food to, hey, I get to take a break from the day to day, right? How about not cooking our own food and not cleaning up and not having to do the things we do in our home every day and look at the same walls all the time? Like, all of that is exciting.
What's wrong with our walls?
There's nothing on them. We didn't put them.
We've got like a stack of pictures.
All my pictures, I only haven't put them up. But we'll get a beautiful backdrop of the ocean to stare out at every day.
Oh, Chrissy did have a question. Berberine. What are your thoughts on berberine?
Was there an actual question about it? It says berberine question.
She asked about it earlier. Let's see if I can find it again.
Question.
I already know what the answer is.
I know what the question is. So I'm curious what the actual.
Do you think berberine can be effective? Let's see. Okay. Do you think berberine can be effective for a carnivore close to 2 years?
My question for you would be
effective for what?
I'm
in her head.
Sometimes he takes the words out of my mouth. Yeah, you don't know. What are you trying to do with it? And what are you thinking it's going to do for you that you can't do without it?
Yeah, because if you are,
why she's asking,
if you are actually doing carnivore, whole foods based carnivore without processed foods, powders, supplements, treats, whatever, then
given enough time, you shouldn't need to worry about berberine because your blood sugar is going to do what it needs to do and it's going to settle down. So if you're actually carnivore and you've been carnivore actually for long enough, you shouldn't need to be worried about berberine.
Right. If you're concerned about your blood sugar, I'm wondering, I would
What else is going on?
What else is going on? Diet.
Yeah. And guys, the
She
secret.
said weight loss.
Yeah.
Berberine.
No, because once you stop taking it, what happens? It's like anything else. It's artificially affecting your biology. As soon as you stop taking it, your biology is going to go back to what it was if you haven't changed the habits and the things that you're doing. So changing the habits and the things that you're doing and the choices that you're making and the food that you're eating is going to be more effective long-term and more sustainable than doing some kind of short-term shortcut that's going to last for only while you're doing it. And then you're going to go backwards when you get off of it. So none of that stuff makes sense to me. If you're really trying to make a change, then make the damn change.
Right. If that question were more geared toward, I've been trying to get my blood sugar down and my A1C has been up and my fasting insulin is up and everything that I've thrown at it is not working and the keto and the low carb then I'd be like, okay, first of all, ask a doctor that question because I'll tell you, my functional physician does not like for people, berberine is one of the supplements that he does not recommend for people to just go and start taking. He wants to look at blood work. He wants to look at what's going on with the person and then recommend it for short periods of time for people in very specific situations.
Again, it's a tool that many people use more than they should.
Yeah. And there's a lot of supplements that can, like berberine is a very powerful supplement. And so you have to be careful with taking things that are going to change biologically what's happening in your body. Yeah. Same thing with strong herbals like oregano oil. That's like taking antibiotics for a long period of time.
You can use oregano oil to remove warts.
It's a very strong antimicrobial.
Yeah, it's crazy. Burn the wart right off. Just so you know, home remedy. If you have a wart, put oregano oil on it. Okay.
Stuff is nasty too. It's strong.
Let's see. Hold on. I think I got one question here. If I wanted to reduce my 70% body fat to 10%, would I reduce the massive food intake or just this? All right, we'll answer this question, then we're done for the night. We talked about this a little earlier, but this is a more specific example. If I wanted to reduce my 17% body fat to 10% body fat, should I reduce the massive food intake or just adjust my macros, protein, and fat? I'm currently trying to grow muscle, so I'm just eating as much as I want when I'm hungry. Oh. Sorry, I kept pressing send back.
Okay, so first of all, food intake is macros.
Right. So
you can't separate one from the other.
Right.
Massive food intake equals macros.
Okay. And then what you said in the second part, Allie, just eating as much as I want when I'm hungry. You cannot make a macro adjustment or an intake adjustment if you don't know what you're actually eating. So step number one is start tracking your macros. How much protein are you getting? How much fat are you getting? How many carbs are you getting? Then you can start making adjustments. And then when you make those adjustments, whatever your protein is, keep it there. If you want to add to it, fantastic. Look at the fat and the fuel intake. That's what you would make an adjustment for body fat.
And I also just want to say, because we have numbers here.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
I hope this is a man. Because 17% body fat for a female is very, very lean.
Yes.
You should not want to get to 10% as a female.
Right.
So
and
if you're a guy, and if this is a female, you may seriously want to reconsider trying to lower that percentage even more.
Yeah. If you didn't say it, I was going to say it. I was like, wow, I hope.
I was like,
yeah, 10% is, if you're a woman, 10% is super low. I would not recommend that. Even for a show, like how lean do you get for a show?
15,
13 at the lowest.
14 to 15 was the lowest I've ever been for a show. And that was this last show, which was the lowest I've ever been. No, I think it was 14.6 or something.
So, I mean,
for that was
stage,
on show day. That was like for 2 days.
On show day, on stage as a professional bodybuilder, 14%. Okay. And we can show pictures. You can post some pictures and be like, if you need to get leaner than that.
I mean, where I'm at right now is 22, 23%.
And that is a healthy amount.
Yeah, that's a healthy
That's where I
normal
recommend
for
most
life.
women are at. Most women should be between 22 and 24. That's where I recommend most women to be at.
So women, if you're seeing all of these random people throwing out super low numbers, if this is where they're at,
right? That is not.
First of all, I question it, and secondly, it's not an ideal.
Or higher. I had a conversation with someone today who was trying to explain to me that they found a study that 35% body fat is optimal for survivability, and
you don't want to be above 29%.
All cause mortality. I was
if
like,
you're above 30%, your goal should be getting under 30% first.
Yes, 100%.
Right? That should be.
I think anybody that's over 25, or any woman that's over 25 should be shooting for 24, 25. Like that's where you
25 is usually
is a good. If you're above 25, then try to get to 25.
And if you're super comfortable where you're at 26, 27, just focus on gaining.
Gain the muscle.
Mass. Just focus on strength training. You'll eventually recomp your way into the 25%.
Because that percentage is all about lean mass too, right? So if you increase your lean mass, your body fat percentage will drop either way. Whether you could change your body fat percentage and never lose a single pound of fat, right? Just by gaining muscle. So just something to think about there as well.
And it changes the way your body looks.
Absolutely.
Without having
100%.
to lose, without having to starve yourself, without having to eat less, without having to do a diet or a fat loss phase.
All right, guys, I think we're good.
Is venison a
Yes,
good
I'm
choice?
a man. Full name, Alejandro. Okay.
Yay, okay.
All right, Alejandro,
10%
good. Okay,
guy is a
10%.
great goal.
Bingo, bango. Go for
Beautiful.
it, man. 10%. I'm around 12% right now, and I'm trying to get to 10 by the end of the week.
He's trying to put on the mass.
I'm putting on some muscle right
now. We have a question. Is venison a good choice for carnivore?
Heck yeah. Who asked that? Where's that?
I mean, sure. Todd did.
Is venison a good? Yeah, venison's a great choice.
Sure, it would not be in my top 5.
No, I'm not a huge fan of venison. Venison sausage I've had. It's been really good. But straight up venison, I would eat it, but I'm a filet guy. So
yeah, venison.
I'm a beef guy.
Is that it's very lean. So you're not going to get your fat from there. You got to pair it with some fatty meats, put some butter with it, add some bacon, something.
Yeah.
But venison by itself is going to be incredibly lean.
But if you're trying to cut though, if you're trying to lose, then go for it. Otherwise.
Yeah. And wild game meats are very nutrient dense.
Where should guys be? Bruce is asking, where should guys be? Okay, let's talk about fat percentage real quick. And then we keep saying we're going to end this, and then we get a question.
We just keep going.
Okay, so guys, healthy range. Okay, we'll say healthy, optimal health range. We're looking at 18 to 22 on the high end. Okay, you talk to some people, they'll say 16 to 18. I think that's probably a little lower than it needs to be for men to be healthy. So 18 to 22 is not a bad range. To be athletic and lean, 16 to 18, right? Under 18, you start seeing some definition that you probably wouldn't see otherwise. If you want to get cut, then you're looking at 15 and under. That's where you start really seeing the abs start popping. You start seeing some things if you have enough muscle. So, and that's another aspect for guys and for the ladies, right? The more muscle you have, the more visible they will be at a higher level of body fat. So right now, I'm at a certain body fat percentage. I'm at 12%. I may look the same as someone else who's at 10% body fat because I have more muscle than they do, right? So I will look more cut and more lean because I have a higher level of lean mass. So that is something to think about as well. If you have a lot of muscle, you may not need to get super lean.
Perfect example, right? The thick, fit Instagram models. They're like, they've got abs, but they got hips and butt for days. And it's like, these are big girls, but they've got abs showing. I do have some legs, don't I? But like, a lot of the time I see that's like very much a goal these days, right? It's just like thick, fit look.
Big
and
ass,
you get that by building
waist.
the muscle.
Yeah.
And then you can get away with having more body fat on you. It still looks appealing.
Yep.
Because it's,
Well,
I'm gonna
that's
use
why-
that term, toned.
Right. Well, because that's how for me, guys, and this is one of this is one of the things that stuck me, that got me in my journey when I lost 70 pounds and then I gained another 40, 50 pounds, is because I had a lot of muscle. So I could wear clothes that were the same clothes that I wore when I was more in shape, and it didn't look that bad on me. I still filled out my shirts right. Now I had a gut, I had, other things going on, but it didn't look as bad. If I took my shirt off, then you're like, ooh, what the hell happened to you? And that's what I would say to myself sometimes. Ooh, what the hell happened to you? But, because I had more muscle, I was able to carry it better. So some things to think about. Muscle solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, my ladies that struggle with, and men who struggle with body image, building muscle is the best thing you will ever do for your body image.
Not just for how your body actually looks, but how you
How you
feel
feel
about
about
it.
it.
As well.
Exactly, because that's everything really, is how you feel
How
about
you
it.
feel about it.
How you feel about it.
All right, guys.
All right, fam.
We are an hour and 20. Can you believe that was an hour and 20?
Woo!
Nobody's going to watch this replay. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you next week. We'll be on the cruise next week. Have a blast. And if you haven't gone to watch Reverse yet, go to
Check it
Dr.
out.
Barry's YouTube channel. Check it out. Like it, share it, get as many people to watch it as possible, okay?
Help
See
get
you
the
guys.
word out. Say wave goodbye with me to my Instagram.
Bye. Hasta la vista.
Bye, ladies. See you next week.